guys, we are back streaming on GG Poker, PLO poker coaching. Couple of spots going on as we speak. Here on table 4, debating whether or not to c-bet. I think without a spin, I'm gonna check. Gonna check call, given that we have some playability with the king blocker, and unblocking spades when we call. Pretty good turn. Not one that will really have many leads on. I have to check calling. And not the best river in terms of having a hand that we can bluff catch with. And given that we block a lot of showdown value, he will have to bluff a lot. Don't mind block bang here, which seems kind of strange without a spade. I'm actually just going to check, given that we have the king as well. I mean, we block a lot more of his wraps and misdraws. Might have got him to fold the chop there, but we shall see how it goes with this guy going forward. And we get ace king king on table 4, obviously opening and calling a 3-bet in position. Not the flop we're looking for out of the big blind range. And I mean, we probably wouldn't stab this hand too much anyway, but the big blind should have a decent amount of leads on this board, and so our stabbing frequency is going to drop down from that like 45-50% range to probably a little bit lower on these types of boards that maybe he should lead, I don't know, 20% of the time on, 15% of the time, and is likely just checking range. And then against pot on the turn, we're obviously just folding. And table 2, we're going for a bluff and a limped pot here with 997 deuce. Not really much hope to be able to call 10 probes, and we can fold out a lot better in terms of medium pairs between 9s and the king. And make sure you guys check out PLOpokercoaching.com. You can get a free session there if you are interested, and we can take a look at your game, see what might make sense for where you are in your poker journey and how to develop from there. You can also check out some premium content that we have on the site, some on-demand pay-as-you-go videos. Definitely check those out. Kings here, we would have 3-bet these against the button. We're just going to open, obviously get it in against this short stack. And I mean, obviously against ace X a lot of the time we're never folding, and we get it in very well. And I think a small bet here on the top right works well, given that we block a lot of the continues. Expect to get raised obviously by 5x a lot. And And given that we do block like all of the straights, and we obviously have all of the aces but block a lot of good bluff catches, like it's like ace queen queen, ace jack jack type hands, probably just gonna triple this one off. We run into the 5, we run into the 5. Problem is we block his kings, queens, jacks type hand. It just makes it quite likely that he actually has a 5 at this point. You know, ace hits the river, we have an additional ace, so that does reduce some of his raising range on the flop. I don't think he calls many open-enders on the turn. When the ace hits on the river, it reduces my nut hands, so I am actually going to give this one up. And he does have 10s. And we get check 2 on the bottom left after raise calling on the button. And just gonna stab half pot here. And this obviously hits my range pretty well. I expect to get jammed on a good amount of the time, but bare aces are kind of gonna struggle here. And people are probably over c-betting a bit much on that board, so I'm fine to attack the check. And then opening 9955. We can fold out a lot better, but without a diamond, I think we check back here, and you know, we have some decent turn cards that we can bluff on, and obviously some nutted turn cards as well. And again, I think we just have too much showdown value here to turn this hand into a bluff. And we do see the half pot size bet on the river. I mean, I don't think he value bets Jack X, so I'm not too worried about that. I just kind of want to call here for some reason. And he does value bet weak ace. Maybe we can give it up when he's tight, but I mean that's a spot where you can kind of, after 2 checkbacks, I would recommend out of position. Kind of betting range, to be honest, and so maybe that's just my own bias there. That's definitely something I would do, is almost bet range in that spot, but probably against this pool, it's probably a terrible call. So hopefully we'll stream a bit today. Maybe like a decent session right now, or maybe even a shorter session and one later on today. But we will be in for a good amount tomorrow. Well, hopefully, depending on how the MTTs go. And for whatever reason, my YouTube chat and OBS has decided to log me into my personal YouTube account, so I won't be able to message links and things like that in the chat. So bear with me on that, but we'll get that fixed. Top left. Not many top hands that we want to turn into a bluff. No backdoors and a gut shot here. Do think is a decent candidate. And we take it down. And table 4, kind of a loose call on the button, but with a recreational in the mix. Kind of wanted to play this hand, and I think this is a board that hits our range pretty well, and I think we have good blockers here to kind of barrel off. Not the best. I think at this point, no diamond and blocking a ton of the draws from the flop and second pairs, yeah. I think we're just going to fold. So, I mean, I've just been kind of opening up these tables at kind of random, just for the stream, but obviously tables don't look too fantastic. I mean, we have pretty wide player here on table 3, but only a few hands and also in the worst position against him. So one thing that you guys need to do if you want to make money is be able to value how much the table is actually worth. And yeah, I mean, none of these tables right now would likely be plus EV to actually play in terms of value, given the reg structure and the cost of the table. You know, I mean, these are probably, I don't know, call it 15 BB, 100 reg. Tables, so if you have 15 BB, 100 tables, right, that's 90 BB. I kind of want to raise this, to be honest. Thing is, we're too short to get him to fold a 10, so I'm actually just gonna fold, and we went on that table. But yeah, basically what I'm saying, I got distracted, but if you need to make, or you need to have someone losing at the table for 90 BB 100, you're gonna need kind of like 2 whales, right, to make that table somewhat profitable, if you're assuming that you don't have an edge on the other regs. So in order to make these profitable, you're gonna have to have probably a very good edge on the regs, which is not going to be the case even if you're kind of a rock star at your stake. It's going to be hard to beat a bunch of regs for 90 BB 100. And table 4, we 3-bet some weak kings and flop top set out of position. I'm actually just going to check rip this hand. The runouts are pretty bad for our hand. And we do get the stab, which is nice. And then gonna rip. Get called. Beautiful turn. Definitely got to fade a lot, but solid equity, obviously, with the nuts. Let's see if we can hold. I think that's good. Top boat. Table 2, raise some weak jacks on the button. And get the folds. So yeah, if you guys are interested in how you can actually calculate how profitable a table is, definitely want to check out our website, because PLOpokercoaching.com, because there are some articles in there in how you can go about doing that accurately. And then for estimates that you're going to need to do that, you will need to know kind of the loss rate by player type. And we have that data as well, so you can reach out to me on that. And you know, if you jump in our Discord community, you can message me, or you can message in the server. So we get heads up on the top left table. So obviously much wider ranges in play. And just flop the nuts casually. Facing a raise here, just gonna call, but we do get it through. Let's see if we can get some more action in the 100 streets. It's 11 tables running right now, so hopefully you should be able to. A nice hand on table 3, the double suited rundown, which we will be 3-betting. And we'll call it jam against the short stack here, depending on what one of the gun does. And And there's a flop that I'm gonna have a decent amount of pots on. I have a ton of backdoors and overcards. Pretty hard for his EP range to connect well here, so our overpairs are doing very well. Tricky turn. I think without a spade, I'm just going to check back here. And we get the pot jam. Unfortunate. Queen 6-5-5, probably gonna be defending this. And table 4, we defend the big blind, and very good board for us to lead on. Could probably go 1/3. Like to use 1/2 when it's a little more dynamic. Not the best turn. Probably, I guess, check, bluff some rivers. I think this is one that we could bluff. Problem with the ace is that he will still have some flushes in his range. He doesn't bet on the turn. Yep. What is up, Anton? Welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream. I appreciate it. I hope I have a good game also. No more Russian cash, question mark. I'm just kind of mixing it up. I mean, I'll let you guys decide on what you want to see. Russian cash, to me, gets a little bit boring. And have been putting in some volume on there to kind of come up with a plan explain video for, not plan explain, sort of tips video for PLO 100 Russian cash, which I'll be putting out shortly. I don't know, let me guys know. I mean, drop in the comments whether you prefer this setup, whether you prefer Russian cash. Obviously more action in the Russian cash, but yeah, it's usually a bunch of nits in there and not always the most interesting spots, but let me know what you guys prefer. We can always do, a Russian cash table and some reg tables, talk about the differences. It's totally up to you guys, to be honest. And just completing here with the 10s, and then we'll probably have to call if everyone else calls. Pretty good flop. No real leads here, as obviously the overpairs are doing pretty well on this disconnected board. Don't need any protection. Now that the club draw comes in, and also obviously 5x is in there a good amount with the limping ranges. Everybody folds, and then on the table number 2, we defended big blind and then check called flop against a small bet. And tempted to raise, to be honest. There's not that many great rivers. And we're not doing very well against the 6. Some draws will back call, and they all get there on the river, so that was very interesting. We'll talk about that in a sec. Table 4, we raise, get called out a small blind, and donked into with 2 pair. I think this is a 2 pair that I do want to raise in position. Most of his value range there is going to be Jack-Jack, 8-8 out of the small blind, and we obviously block that pretty well. So when we raised the turn, he called with an 8 and a gut shot. No flush draw. Okay. Not having the best run of pre-flop cards here. I mean, you know that I am somewhat loose in my ranges, and we have 17, 20, 24, and 28 VPIP right now. Flop the nut flush draw in a limped pot. Turning a pair and blocking some straights. I mean, we saw this guy kind of lead out with trashy stuff earlier. Actually gonna min raise just to put this guy in a spot so I can come back over the top if he jams. obviously a nice turn. He will have like a decent. I think without a heart, the thing is we can't really bet call. After we check raise flop, wasn't min raise though. I'm actually gonna check back this 2-pair. And we're on the wrong table. But basically this guy let out, I min raised flop, this guy called. Got a blank on the turn and I elected to check back top 2. And I think we have to call, blocking a lot of showdown value. I think we run into a set a good amount of the time here though. And we did have the same hand. What is up, Uriel? What's up, coach? I like Russian cash better. Perhaps pausing game to discuss interesting hands / villain plays. I like it. I like it. I think we're just checking down here on top right. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. So maybe we will jump into that on the next stream. Not really loving the blockers that we have here. We do turn a gut shot. The question is, what hands do we check and then lead on the 4? I'm gonna check, potentially check raise. He snap checks back. I do want to attack these ranges a good amount. This is not the best hand to be doing it with, but oops. But we do get the fold. Against the min raise, we're gonna call against this fun player on table 2. Table 4, we get 3 bet. I guess there's some flops we can fold. Not this one, obviously. And he does fold, and that's interesting. And you check raise on King 8 XX. Big blind versus button. Do you really fold better hands? I don't expect to fold out better hands, but I do think that I will be able to apply pressure to some like marginal draw type hands or bluff type hands that I'm not going to be able to call with on the river. And so I don't mind just kind of like Riz folding it, because it's going to be awkward to kind of play. But think that I'm ahead a good portion of the time. Table 2. Just gonna call here. Double suited. Obviously we could think about raising, but we want to play with our friend Franklin. Should actually be a pretty good spot to check raise. There's really not many nut flush draws in these guys' ranges from how I've seen them play. But we'll let it go. Raise on table 1. See if we can get some action. Actually gonna raise on the top left here. We have some very strong blockers to ace X in this guy's range, but maybe when he just leads that we're probably not the right person to be doing it against. And just gonna bet small here on top right after we 3-bet with aces. Actually, just opened and calling here in position. Oh wait, I didn't realize this guy was so short. Good job, we flopped the nuts. Ooh, we'll jump into some Russian cash because it's feeling a little slow today. Yeah, let's do that. Let's jump into some rush and cash. Yeah, Anton, as I said, in terms of the differences between reg tables and Russian cash, you know, be putting a video out on it, but, you know, kind of some of the key things that you want to be thinking about is you really, if you want to beat the game, you want to have a positive red line, given that everybody is playing very tight. Given that everyone is playing very tight, and also, you know, you want to figure out whether or not it's actually going to be beneficial and beatable for you. So you want to actually calculate like how you're playing the game. We get snap called here by a set and a pair blocker. It's always nice. So I'm definitely going to play more aggressive pre-flop. You really need to be stealing the blinds. If you're playing this soft tight VPIP, you're giving up like way too much value. There's certain spots in Russian cash where you can basically raise range on the button. So pre-flop, it's gonna be very, very different. I would be very aggressive in terms of trying to steal. I would limit probably your like more of your pre-flop like bluffing hands when people show aggression, because you know they just have tighter ranges. And yeah, I mean you need to adjust ranges on the flop. So raising here on the left, snap call behind. Raising with a diamond blocker, slim equity, pair blocker. I think we want to triple here. I would imagine this guy would jam a good amount of his straights. So yeah, you need to play aggressively. Otherwise you're going to struggle, and we will over limp here, why not? And I mean, even more so than in like reg tables, I probably just wouldn't bluff catch as much. I would look to do it with like the premium blockers and unblockers. And I wouldn't play more than 2 tables as well. See a lot of people kind of making those mistakes of playing too many tables. But I'll discuss that in more detail. Left table, probably not, as I just said. It's a bit distracted running out of time, but I wouldn't really call this turn bet. I think you just run into like 7x a good portion of the time. And we just don't have a good bluff catcher, and here I'm gonna barrel so many hands. Yeah. get min 3-bet on the right, so obviously calling. Trying to bink the set. We do bink the set. And it's actually... I'm actually going to lead here with the 8s and the deuce of hearts. And I guess get it in against this guy, because he's short, the SPR is low enough. And we do hold, which is nice. Turn 3 pair. No kind of key straight blockers. I think we're just folding. So, kind of the reason for leading here, which I wouldn't usually do, given that I have those 8-8 and the deuce of spades, there's just so many more turns that I can continue on, and it makes it an easier bet fold against like the larger stack, because obviously I block a lot of the combo draws and the draws that are out there, and I just run into bad sets a lot of the time. So with a tight button and a 9% VP big blind, these are the kind of spots that I'm talking about to kind of raise these pretty marginal hands. We do pretty well on this board against the small blind calling range. That's a bad turn. And raising on the right. Against the small min raise, we get called. You could argue that this spot is just so disconnected that you want to bet, but into 2. Trying to get it through King X is pretty tough. So I'm just gonna check fold. And on the left, I think check raise or lead. Guess we'll go check raise. With 3 diamonds and no pair, I'm gonna go ahead and lead. Like, he never has basically the king high flush, So we only need to to avoid the nut flush, which a lot of people will be betting most nut flush combos in position. On the right here, trip suited. We are a little deeper. This hand's kind of trashy. PLO hurts in the mix. Says good luck. Spewed off a couple off towers. Not sure what that is. I presume a few stacks today. I blame the alcohol. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to hear a little more about that. PLO hurts, but yeah, I mean, alcohol and grinding doesn't often turn out very well. Alcohol and poker is very, very fun when you're not necessarily concerned about doing it profitably. Queen deuce. I think with this guy's wide of a range, I do want to bet to generate some value here. We can obviously call check raises, and I think that I'm actually going to check call a turn, given that I don't really need protection from much, and we have good equity against the 4. So I don't want to get shipped on with his stack. And then flopping top 2. We should have a good amount of leads on this board. I don't think we can fold here. And I guess we just shove. And hope to get called by a 4. Run into a board a good amount of the time. Oh, sick. Sick. Two pair against half pot. Let's make it out that we're tanking. He could have a set here that we lose to as well. Yeah, makes more sense. Nice half pot turn bet, I like it. SPR 2-1 with a diamond. I'm gonna bet like quarter pot here. And then I guess give up on the turn. The 10 is nice. If he checks back, we can jam some like blank rivers because he will have some 2-parent sets. I think this is a river that we're gonna want to bluff. With a diamond and a 10, we can rep straights at this point, unblocking all the pairs. just call it a set. Or a jack-eye flush. What is he tanking for? I feel like I just got slow rolled. Maybe he was thinking about jamming, but I don't know. We will never know. Only opening this given the VPIP of the big blind. Again, wouldn't usually be opening this, but would do if it was folded around to me. Can we get a squeeze? You can get a squeeze with the double suited blades. Oh, and the overcall. The dream. Until we get it against aces and 9-10 jack queen double suited or something. But we're in it. We're in it. Just the quads on the first one. Wasting our aces away. Beautiful flop on the left. And in terms of leading, when we just block so much of the stabbing range, I think I do want to bet this hand. I think it gets checked back so many times. Pretty good turn. I think it's a decent turn to check. I want to keep some of his draws in that we have kind of drawing dead. And obviously can run into, you know, ace 10, ace 7 here. I think I'm gonna just bet fold. Bro hits, what is going on? I'm good, thank you. How are you doing? Flopping the nuts on the right. Do we want to 3-bet these kings? I'm actually just going to call them here. We often get it heads up more often. Flopping top set 3-way, it's always nice. Could elect to check these back if there was a top set that you wanted to check back with just no backdoors, no blockers. Not a board that I'm really going to have many leads on, multi-way, but with this fish short stacked, it does make it interesting. It could be put into a tough spot. I would rather just like bet small and get it in against this guy rather than check, have him pot, and then have to call with like a not great draw, like this for example. Like now we can just fold. Pretty a decent board, blocking a lot of the continues with king and queen. We just get called. I think it's probably a check back and then bet some rivers. Kind of rep those overpairs that we would play this way. And that is not the river we were looking for to bluff. So we'll just be folding now. Raw hits, I do not do any staking arrangements. It's just, it's not really worth it. One, I mean, obviously, just like a general risk reward standpoint, it's not really something that I need in terms of an income stream. But then also you have to vet people, you have to trust them, you have to, you know, maintain that kind of relationship, which is just not the stress or hassle that I want. But there are people out there that do staking, so if you have good results, I'm sure you'll be able to find someone. This kind of feels like one of those like recreational like bet to kind of find out where you're at hands. And then shipped on and then reshipped on. Okay. I guess we fold. On the right, we turn 2 pair. We're just gonna pot and get this in. We run into Ace-Jack, we run into Ace-Jack. And we have pretty good blockers to call, but it doesn't matter because he's jamming any flush, so the Ace of Hearts isn't that appealing. I think we're actually gonna fold. He's probably jamming like any straight there as well. Maybe he has bluffs, but I don't see very many in that spot. And checking back on the right with valuable turn cards such as this one. Makes sense. Pretty weird hand to bet on the turn there. Basically a range bet on this board for me, especially against EP. And then again, range bet on turn on the bottom board pairing cards. On the right, we do have ace-8, which is nice. I think blocking a lot of the draws. I don't want to check raise this hand. I think we start isolating ourselves. Obviously we need less protection here. It's not like, you know, if I had this hand without an ace, maybe. But we're never getting back to fold, and we just turn the second nuts anyway. Low SPR. I think this guy's gonna still just jam any 8 on the turn, so I think I'm just gonna go check call. And then with this many straights getting there after turn checks through, and obviously some of the 8 combos get there, I think we probably just want to pot and hope for a call from this guy. Problem is he's going to struggle to call 8x now. Let's get there with the straight. So if this guy had folded, I probably would have just shipped it here. In the turn, I think I'm just gonna bet small and bet fold. And this guy just has the nizzles. And with a loose open in the first place, non-nutted against a short stack, I think we can actually just fold this even though we're in position. This I'm actually more likely to play even though it's trash. I mean, I just think most SX is C-bang this flop. He could have like kings though. So I actually kind of want to raise against kings because he'll continue to value bet. I mean, does he really have quads? I feel like quads is kind of the only way that plays this way. We're about to run into quads. No, we are not. Kings with hearts or something like that, maybe. Don't think this is the best candidate to raise. Blocking the ace X kind of leads. Great turn. Now I think we can raise. I think he would go bigger with eights here. And on the left, just not relevant enough blockers. Like low diamond, also the majority of his kind of calling range that's going to be bang for value or going to jam over the top of our lead or call against the check raise is going to be queen queen, and so we'll just give that one up. And c-betting at a high frequency on airside boards, small versus big blind, with the range disparities there. Don't love calling this short. Our queens aren't going to play well on like a jack turn when he has this little behind. Exactly what we were not looking for on the right. Now this guy should jam a ton of stuff. Question is, do we want to barrel this off? Probably a check raise might have actually worked better here, to be honest. And then I guess probably gonna check raise. We do have some showdown value. Being 8 now. An ice swing on the left. Usually when there's a limper, you can kind of ISO sort of the range of one position earlier, and I would open this hand if I was in the cutoff, so I think it's fine to ISO. 3 diamonds. I'm gonna go ahead and bet here. And the nuts. Blocking straight draws diamonds and no pairs. I think I want to bet. I think if I had a pair blocker here with 3 diamonds, I think it is a definite check back. And so basically now trying to get him to call with a set. And he does. think if I had 2 diamonds there, I'm more likely to go for the pot sizing. I'm more likely to go for the pot sizing because it makes it more likely that he has a diamond blocker that he can call with. And just folding. Tempting hand to call with this guy behind, but he does have a high 3-bet percentage, so we'll let it go. Obviously, it would be better to have the 9 here. And actually, now that I did it, I don't like it. We just have like such little equity. And I'm gonna give up. On the left, I think I prefer check calling with the marginal flush draw. And on the left, we can definitely value ourselves against King here when he calls on the button. Oh, it's PLO Hertz. What's up, my friend? I didn't even see this guy was in the mix. I'm getting ready to snap. Sick hand, sir. I didn't know we had him in the pool. All right, that's a little more interesting. All right, let's ship it in on the right. Diamond one time. Diamond one time. Oh, ship it. I'm interested to check raise this turn. Just because it's very unlikely that he has a deuce. He'll bet some overpairs with draws that we can then kind of take aggressive actions against. We obviously have equity against the deuce. Pretty good flop. See, when he leads this turn, I mean, it's a lot of time Jack 8 or clubs. I don't know if he's gonna double it up on the river. But I think if he raises here, I mean, he's never folding a flush. And I don't think he's gonna bluff river. So I don't think that we get as much value there. Just calling. We'll actually connect better than with this board, with our AP opening range in terms of like the aces. That we'll have here with obviously some good flush draws as well. Going to check back this turn and then betting on the left. And I think probably want to bet here. I mean, I would definitely bet some of my like overpair gut shot type hands. And unfortunately, looks like we're getting stacks in on the left. And we win basically our equity in the pot, so fair enough. And what did we get called with over here? Queen high flush, yeah. Not getting that to fold. We don't want to call with just these aces. They don't have that great playability. Guess we call if this guy ships. Nah, let's stick it in. So this is not a good spot now because this guy's probably got great equity. Oh, what a river. I wasn't even paying attention. Wow. I mean, this guy is... This guy's pretty wild. And this guy just flops the nut both days. I mean, how your flush draw is covered, your deuce 2 pairs are covered. Yeah, it's oh, got half the pot. Open ender and a gut shot. No spade is unfortunate with a player behind. Just the nuts. Nope. Shove. Yeah. Right, aces. Ace has been good to us today. We love it. Okay, so that's a great river for us, because he basically doesn't really have nut flushes, and then he should be betting queen high flushes, like king and queen high flushes maybe. No, mainly just king high flushes on the turn, so the king's actually a great card. And pretty deep, and we get raised. Interesting. Do we want to lead this turn? Hmm. So I'm gonna think that he has a good amount of King X here, maybe even with some flush draws that he might take the showdown value on. I don't know that we have a good bluff catcher, so... Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to have many. I mean, okay, that makes sense. Hit top set with the flush draw. I think on the left we want to bet with the king of diamonds and an 8 blocker. Not that many turns that we're going to be able to call probes on, but a couple that we can barrel. I think at this SPR we're just going to be pawing and stacking off. I think we have a good amount of fold equity with the blockers now a hand. And obviously can't fold the turn. And on the left, actually gonna check back on the 6. And then a small half pot size bet on the river. I mean, I guess 10x. He'll have a lot of draws. I think it's just generally hard to get value. think we're probably gonna be wrapping it up for this session. Might come back and stream later. We'll see. I think this is a pretty good spot to check raise. I mean, this guy's so short though. Is he really bet folding? Then we're gonna have to call it off with the overpair. Yeah, we're actually. I don't think we should be folding. Let's see if we can get one more hand. Alright, we'll play it, because it's probably the last one. I guess we'll play the... Oh, we do actually have to call now. Guess not. And yeah, so that's going to be it for me, guys. As always, check out PLOpokercoaching.com. and join our Discord server. Tons of information in there, notifications, and general hand reviews, chatting about products and that kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and good luck at the tables out there. Are we going to see an all-in here? No, we are not.